Anna. I'm Bobby. Good to see you.
Hi. How are you?
Hey, doing pretty good. I have a couple questions for you. When I heard we were going to talk, and I was reading about this movie, because this is such a dramatic role, do you have to go in that morning already preparing to be sad or angry or hurt? Because I come in, I do this show for 5 hours, and I got to come in with some sort of mindset. When you're playing a role like this, is it different?
Um, yeah, I mean, it's funny. I do think like the idea of coming into work and being like, man, I gotta be sad today is like a kind of hilarious and perfect way to think about it. Um, but yeah, I think that there were some scenes that I was you know, a little bit like you have to ramp yourself into it. It's a weird thing because you are at work, like I think that there's like a myth around film sets as though they're these perfect artistic bubbles, but they are like just an outdoor office at the end of the day. So it's a really bizarre thing to like go to work at the office and, be like, good morning, good morning. Oh, how are you? How was your weekend? And then be like, oh, I have to have a full blown panic attack in like half an hour and I have to do that all day. So it's definitely a strange thing, but I remember Mary, the director, at one point pulling me aside before we started filming and being like, just so you know, if there's ever a moment where things feel like too intense for you and you need to step off set for a while, like just always let me know. And I was like, oh, that's so sweet. I'm not really that kind of actor where it, kind of gets away from me. But this was probably the closest to that, because this film's very personal to me. And so I think that I knew that like living in that and bringing up some of those experiences in my body again would be tricky. But it was exciting, and I also felt like the crew was so sensitive to the process because everybody that came to work on the movie kind of came to work on it because they read the script and they had a similar experience. So they were really understanding, and I felt very held by the crew, if that makes sense. And that made it a lot easier. When you feel safe like that, it's a lot easier to kind of like get into that mindset. You don't have to like push for it. It just it like has permission to come up. Sorry, I'm being very I'm doing a lot of like actor speak, which is annoying, but that's how I felt about it, I guess.
If you're crying in a scene and it's very emotional, it could be either Alice Darling or anything else you're doing. If it's very emotional and they go, all right, cut, can you just go, all right, give me a cannoli and I'll take a Mountain Dew? Or again, does it take a little bit of time to come out of that because you have dedicated yourself?
Oh my God. Well, first of all, I feel like a cannoli and a Mountain Dew is going to be the order for sure. That's so specific. Is that a combination that you're fond of, sir?
It just was me going, what sounds fun? What sounds the opposite of crying? A cannoli and a Mountain Dew. It just came out.
That is the opposite of crying. I think, that's a good question. I mean, yeah, I am pretty much like the cannoli and the Mountain Dew. Or I am now that I know that specifically I should order that. That's what's coming. But I think like it depends on if you're like about to roll into the next one, you might just kind of like keep your head down and stay in the space. But yeah, like once you've moved on from the scene, also you're so elated to just be done with it, to be like sort of done being in that space, that you do get this like adrenaline afterglow thing, that like the hard part of the day is over and now all I have to do is like walk down a hallway. It's that's the best feeling.
You're very polite, although you did call me sir. Do I look like I'm 60 or something, Anna? I'm now I'm self-conscious of it.
What, because I called you sir?
Yeah, like I'm really
60.
Yeah, do I look 60 or something? Be
honest.
honest.
I was trying to be adorable, sir.
Oh,
but
okay. All right, good. I didn't know.
But now I've made you self-conscious.
I was like, oh no, she thinks I'm an old man. Okay, ma'am. See? Can I call you ma'am?
Yeah, you can call me ma'am.
Love it. Now, I'm a big fan. You're hilarious. You're also able to be extremely emotional. When you're a kid and you're learning range, like at what age do you start to learn actual emotional range? Do you do it at 7, 8, 9 years old, or is that something you get to do later in life?
Oh, that's really interesting. I feel like as a kid, I was more in tune with like other people's feelings. So it was like reading people was kind of the move when I was a kid. But I was definitely good at figuring out like what people kind of wanted, and being like the kind of apple polisher, if you will. It has actually been an interesting few years for me because especially after, being in this really horrible relationship and, things kind of falling apart, it felt like, oh, maybe it's time to sort of investigate what's going on in this direction. Which has been really rewarding and also given me a lot more access. So, the range thing is, I don't feel like I'm not really answering your question, but I don't feel like I had like a lot of authentic range when I was like 7 or 8. But I definitely knew, like, if I was in like a school play or something, I definitely knew what people wanted me to do, and I could sort of like fake it. And like getting to a place where it's you're kind of safe enough and comfortable enough to like, oh God, I'm really trying hard not to use phrases like go to that place because it's such like actor speak. It sounds so horrible and corny, but that's been really again, like challenging but really rewarding.
Alice Darling is out today. I guess if you don't have a job, you can go today if it's out there. Anna Kendrick is on with us right now. Can you, when you watch the movie back, first, the quick question is, will you watch it all the way back in a theater that's not like a premiere? Will you just go and watch it?
Oh, you mean like out in theaters?
Yeah, just like you're just gonna go.
I don't think I've ever done that.
Okay.
Yeah, people talk about doing stuff like that. I've never done that. I think I'm in the way that like I don't throw myself birthday parties because it's like, oh God, what if nobody shows up? Like the idea of going to a theater where something's playing and it being empty is just too heartbreaking. So I think I don't think I've ever done that, but I did watch this movie in like a screening room before it premiered, but I was it was more worky. It was like, making changes to the edit and stuff. But I watching it at the premiere at the Toronto Film Festival was really fun because like hearing the audience fully gasp, like hundreds and hundreds of people just like gasping at these things that are so small and intimate, and you're worried that this is such a small story that it won't evoke enough of an emotional reaction, and then like having such a big reaction from the audience was really exciting.
We have 60 seconds. I want to run through just give me a quick answer on these. Who is the coolest person who watches your story on Instagram?
I have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. Who follows me on Instagram? I know that Pete Holmes just followed me on Instagram.
That's
so
good. I like
maybe
that.
he watches my story.
Your favorite movie as a kid?
Favorite movie as a kid was, as a little kid, was Hocus Pocus, and then by the time I was 12, it was The Women.
Why the 47 and Anna Kendrick 47?
Because one time somebody called me AK-47, and it's a nickname much cooler than I deserve.
And the final question, who is an actor that you didn't know before that you worked with and you thought they were so funny that you couldn't get enough of them just being hilarious?
Well, I just worked with Tony Hale, and everybody already knows he's hilarious, but I would just like to let the world know he's just that funny in person as well.
Anna, you're awesome. Thank you. We can't wait to see the movie, and I hope it sells so many tickets, and I hope the story resonates with so many people. And thank you very much. Just a big fan.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye.
It's about